review tool. I usually use it either right before we take a test or the class period before. It's up to you kind of when you want to use it. Let me put here. Okay, so I just put a little blurb. We have a couple different systems available. This is one of them, what they look like. It involves and engages all students, allows you to customize questions, provides immediate feedback to the students and the teacher, and generates detailed reports. I've found it's very useful. The kids really like it. They get excited. Are we going to use the clickers? Are we going to use the clickers? You know, it allows me to use a little bit of competition too, because I'll say, all right, A1 received an 88% for cumulative. Let's see if we can beat them. And they'll get real serious and they really, want to beat them, and I'll do like candy as a prize or something if they get a higher cumulative score. It keeps track of their score throughout the entire review session. So all of you guys have this on your computers, your teacher computers. That's what it looks like. This window will always pop up. You can exit it out. So this is going to be your basic menu. This is your sensor. So this is where the students should point their clickers, because this is what registers it. A lot of times they'll try and point at the PowerPoint, but that doesn't do anything. They have to point it. So I usually put it on top of my podium so that it's high enough into where all students can reach it. Under tools is where you would do a new lesson. I'm going to actually I did a couple questions. I'm going to show you guys how it kind of works. You select your question. Engage is what allows you to start. Are you learning? You can also create a class. So if you have several classes, you would want to create a class for each one of your sections. I just did, are you learning? This window will pop up. You select which question you want to start with. Sometimes if you have multiple chapters in one section, one review session, sometimes I'll start, if I do chapter 7, I'll start if I have 6 in there with it. Okay, you can do questions with no right or wrong answer, which is kind of nice. So what lunch do you have? All you do is click start. You guys can buzz in. Do you have A, B, C, or D lunch? And this is up to you. I do a time managed. You can set this time. I give them 15 seconds to answer questions because otherwise they will wait forever. This one I didn't set up a time management. They will. They'll drag it out as long as they can. So then you can hit end, and you can even do that with the time management if everyone has buzzed in. You can go ahead and hit end, and as you can see, it lights up so you know who hasn't buzzed in. So if there was someone that had 7, then come on 7, you gotta buzz in, let's go. You can also change your answer once you've buzzed in. So if you made an incorrect choice, you can change it, okay? It will change yellow when you change. And if they're kind of goofing around, because if it turns red, go ahead and pick F. It'll put a big red and an X, and that means they're choosing something that's not even an option, okay? So then you can let them know, hey, stop messing around. Brett.
I figured that was...
Okay, so one person has A, one person, so it gives you those results. You can also click on histogram. It'll give you a graph. You can do a pie chart. It gives you a lot of different...
And can you come back to that after you go through the entire thing? Or are you going to do it question by question?
You mean as far as...
You go through the entire review session, you get done, and you want to go back through question by question to see how people answer?
You can go back.
Go back.
And you can also, they have so many endless reports that you could run to where you could probably get that information. Okay, so here's a little blue arrow. Next question. How many sides are there to a hexagon? 4, 5, or 6? I have the picture of the hexagon so no one can get it wrong. Mr. Fisher, do you need a buzzer?
I don't have one.
Uh-oh. Okay. So then you would click end. Okay? So there's one smart Alex Smith
No, I swear to God.
in the class. But this is, it's good because there your check mark shows up. That's what tells you what's right. You see that one person got it wrong, so you possibly take a minute to explain. There's the picture, count the sides, it's 6. But it also shows you your cumulative correct and the question correct, which is pretty good. If I get a question correct where I get like a 70% or below, a lot of times I'll revisit the subject matter and kind of discuss it with them again. That way then I know that they get it. I like things like this. I think it's helpful if you have something you can find an image on Google, online, that's labeled but not with the actual names. So what is the center of a cell called? Part Y, so Y is pointing to it. Those are your choices. I don't know if we all know. It's B.
Oh.
It also tells you how many people have responded. I give out the buzzers in alphabetical order. So if someone's absent, I skip their buzzer. So there we go. Okay, so question correct, 80%. 82 is your cumulative. Here's one for your department, guys. Okay, so what war does this picture illustrate? Civil, World War I, World War II. Everyone's buzzed in. End.
Oh, oops.
Civil War. All right, here's the good part. You close, okay? We've done our questions. Close. Close again. You're going to end the session. Once you end the session, it brings you back. This is where you go to reports. Here's a lesson we just did. When you double click on it, here's all the different reports that you can do. Okay? You can do a study guide. You can do a study guide with just incorrect answers, class, questions, response, item analysis. I think that's what you would be looking for, an item analysis. So there's a ton of things that you can do. Okay? It allows you to preview and then you can print. So if you guys wanted to, I'll leave it up to a vote. If you wanted to, you could jump on the computer and create a couple questions. If it seems like something maybe you might need some help with, or we could do it at the end. But I do have it on all the computers, so if you did want to try and, do one question or 2 questions, you could. What do you guys think?
Well, I've used it a lot, so.
Oh, you have used it a lot? Okay, so you're good. Has anyone not used it at all? Okay, so you guys haven't? Okay, so maybe if you wanted to stay for a minute afterwards, I could just show you if you're confused. Or you can just try it. I mean, that's kind of how I learned how to use it, was just kind of clicking here and there and everywhere and trying to figure it out. They do have new software that aligns it with ExamView. So if your textbook has ExamView, mine does, but it doesn't work with Mac, so I haven't been able to use it. But you should be able to import questions from your ExamView right into this. So you don't necessarily always have to create the questions from scratch on your own. The nice thing about it is once you have it done, it's done. All you have to do is go back and tweak. So I think that that's pretty cool. Sometimes I cover a little bit more in one chapter, a little less, depending on how we're moving. So I can just remove questions or add questions, which is really nice. Another nice thing, if you go under classes, if you choose a class, you can go in and assign students to pads. So here down in student information, you can put in their first name, last name, initial, and then when you print reports like a study guide, it would come up with their name. I don't think it's necessary, but if you want to do it, it is something you can. Any questions?
If they made that, when I used this 2 years ago, they still haven't aligned it very well with Mac for PowerPoint. Has that changed? No.
I have not used it with PowerPoint, especially since we've just updated to the new PowerPoint. I don't know, there might be new software Kathy?
There is new software, but it's only compatible with PowerPoint 2004. But we can keep that on your
Yeah.
computer and you could use that just when you wanted to use this.
So maybe give them another year, and then, unfortunately, that's one of the drawbacks of incorporating technology, is sometimes they don't keep up, or sometimes they move too fast, and you've just gotten used to
Right.
one, and then they switch it.
Right.
So, you know, it is something that you kind of got to keep up on. einstructions.com is a good website to go to. A lot of times they'll have software updates, and they'll have instructions about how to do things like align it with PowerPoint. Okay, that's it for me. And now, Mr. Moore.